History often celebrates the conquerors, the architects of vast empires. Yet, true heroism frequently resides in the defiant spirit, in those who stand against overwhelming tides. This is the story of a prince whose name, though less known, echoes with unparalleled courage. Jalal ad-Din Mingburnu was a testament to this very courage. He was a figure who dared to challenge the seemingly unstoppable force of his era. His defiance was not merely an act of desperation, but a calculated, strategic stand against insurmountable odds. He faced the most formidable military power the world had ever seen. His adversary was Genghis Khan, the legendary founder of the Mongol Empire. It was a confrontation that would etch Jalal ad-Din's name into the annals of military history. This prince, through his sheer will and tactical brilliance, achieved something extraordinary. He made Genghis Khan, the great Khan himself, tremble with a profound respect. It was an acknowledgement of a warrior spirit unlike any other. Jalal ad-Din was born into the opulent Khwarazmian Empire. This vast realm stretched across Central Asia, a jewel of wealth and culture. Its cities glittered with prosperity, and its armies were considered formidable. His father, Shah Muhammad II, reveled in this immense wealth. He mistook luxury for strength, believing his empire's grandeur made it invincible. This complacency would prove to be a fatal flaw. While his father indulged, Jalal ad-Din honed his skills. From a young age, he mastered horsemanship, a vital art in the Central Asian plains. He became proficient with the sword, understanding the brutal realities of combat. Crucially, he immersed himself in the art of war. He studied tactics, logistics, and the psychology of command. This rigorous self-preparation set him apart from the court's decadence. He observed with growing concern the distant rumblings of a new power. The Mongol Empire, under the leadership of Genghis Khan, was expanding relentlessly. Its shadow was steadily creeping towards the Khwarazmian borders. Jalal ad-Din recognized the true nature of this threat. He saw beyond the initial skirmishes, understanding the existential danger posed by the disciplined and ruthless Mongol war machine. His foresight was a lonely burden in a court blinded by its own splendor. The inevitable clash arrived with terrifying speed. In 1220, the Mongol war machine descended upon Khwarazm. It was an invasion of unprecedented scale and ferocity. The empire, once so proud, crumbled rapidly under the Mongol onslaught. Cities fell, armies disintegrated, and the illusion of invincibility shattered. The Khwarazmian defenses proved woefully inadequate. Shah Muhammad II, overwhelmed by the disaster, chose flight over fight. He abandoned his people and his empire, seeking refuge in a desperate, futile escape. His abdication left a gaping void. Jalal ad-Din, then a young man of just 21, was left to face the devastation. He witnessed the destruction of his homeland, the suffering of his people. The weight of a collapsing world rested upon his shoulders. In that moment of profound despair, a critical choice presented itself. He could succumb to the chaos, follow his father into exile, or surrender to the conquerors. But Jalal ad-Din chose a different path. He chose to fight. He resolved to stand against the tide, to resist the seemingly irresistible force. It was a decision born of courage, duty, and an unyielding spirit. The task before Jalal ad-Din was monumental. He began by gathering the scattered remnants of his father's shattered empire. These were not organized legions, but broken units and desperate individuals. He reached out to anyone willing to stand: refugees, dispossessed soldiers, even outlaws and mercenaries answered his call. They were a motley collection, united only by their shared desperation and a flicker of hope. Jalal ad-Din, through sheer force of will and charismatic leadership, forged them into a cohesive force. He instilled discipline, purpose, and a belief that they could challenge the Mongols. This was an army built from the ashes of defeat. He understood the Mongol weakness, a crucial insight often overlooked. While they were masters of conquest, they struggled to truly conquer the land itself, to pacify a populace determined to resist. Their strength lay in open battle, not in endless occupation. His strategy was not to defeat them in a single, decisive engagement. Instead, he aimed to harass, to deny, to make their occupation costly and unsustainable. He sought to ignite a spirit of defiance that would spread like wildfire. This nascent army, born of desperation, became a symbol. It represented the enduring spirit of a people refusing to be extinguished. Jalal ad-Din had given them a reason to fight, a banner to rally around. Jalal ad-Din's strategic brilliance culminated in his most significant triumph. This came at the Battle of Parwan in 1221, a clash that would send shockwaves across the Mongol Empire. It was a moment of audacious defiance. He meticulously chose his ground, utilizing the mountainous terrain to his immense advantage. The narrow passes and rugged slopes negated the Mongol cavalry's superior numbers and mobility. This was a battlefield designed for his strengths. The Mongol commander Shigi Kutuk led an army of 30,000 veterans. These were seasoned warriors, accustomed to swift and decisive victories. They expected another easy conquest. But Jalal ad-Din's forces, though smaller, fought with the ferocity of cornered lions. They used the terrain to launch ambushes, to funnel the Mongol cavalry into killing zones. The battle raged for 2 days. In a stunning display of tactical prowess and sheer bravery, Jalal ad-Din's army routed the Mongols. They inflicted heavy casualties, forcing a full retreat. It was an unthinkable defeat for Genghis Khan's forces. This victory shattered the myth of Mongol invincibility. For the first time, a Mongol army had been decisively beaten in open battle. The news reverberated across Asia, igniting a spark of hope. The victory at Parwan ignited hope across the entire region. It proved that the Mongols were not gods, that their armies could bleed and be defeated. This single battle changed the psychological landscape of the war. Inspired by Jalal ad-Din's success, uprisings and rebellions flared up in various conquered territories. People who had resigned themselves to Mongol rule now saw a glimmer of possibility. The spirit of resistance was rekindled. The news of Parwan reached Genghis Khan himself. He was reportedly furious at the defeat, a rare stain on his otherwise perfect record. But beneath the anger, there was a grudging respect. Genghis Khan, a master strategist and warrior, acknowledged Jalal ad-Din's prowess. He recognized the tactical genius and the indomitable spirit of the young prince. This was no ordinary foe. It is said that Genghis Khan admitted he had met his match in Jalal ad-Din. He saw in the prince a reflection of his own relentless drive and military acumen. This was a personal challenge, a worthy adversary. The great Khan understood that this was not just a military setback. It was a challenge to his authority, a crack in the facade of his empire's invincibility. Jalal ad-Din had earned his respect and his wrath. Despite the stunning victory at Parwan, it was short-lived. Genghis Khan, enraged and impressed, personally led his forces against the young prince. He would tolerate no further defiance. The great Khan unleashed the full might of his empire. Jalal ad-Din was relentlessly pursued, his forces whittled down by constant skirmishes and the sheer weight of Mongol numbers. The odds were insurmountable. His army, though valiant, was exhausted and depleted. They were pushed further and further south, their options dwindling. The vastness of the Mongol pursuit left them no respite. Finally, Jalal ad-Din and his remaining loyalists were cornered. They found themselves trapped on the banks of the Indus River, with the raging waters before them and the Mongol horde at their backs. There was no escape. With no other recourse, Jalal ad-Din made a desperate, legendary leap. He spurred his horse into the raging waters of the Indus, plunging into the torrent. It was an act of audacious courage, a final defiance. Genghis Khan, witnessing this incredible feat from the riverbank, was profoundly moved. He ordered his archers to hold fire, to spare the prince. It was a moment of profound respect from one warrior to another. The great Khan turned to his sons and declared that such a son was worthy of a father. He admired Jalal ad-Din's bravery, his refusal to surrender even in the face of certain death. It was a tribute from the conqueror to the unconquered. Jalal ad-Din escaped the Indus, but his power was broken. His army was scattered, his homeland firmly under Mongol control. The grand resistance had come to an end. He spent the remaining years of his life in exile, fighting as a fugitive. He continued to resist, to lead smaller campaigns, until his death in 1231. His spirit remained unbroken. Despite the ultimate defeat of his cause, his legacy endured as a powerful symbol of resistance. He proved that, even against the most overwhelming odds, defiance was possible. His story became a beacon of hope. Jalal ad-Din's life is a stark reminder that even the most powerful empires can be challenged. Their might is not absolute, and their dominance can be questioned by a single, courageous individual. He showed the world that courage can shake the foundations of tyranny. His fleeting defiance, though it did not ultimately save his empire, echoed through history. It inspired future generations to stand against oppression, to never surrender their spirit. His name became synonymous with unyielding bravery. Jalal ad-Din Mingburnu, the prince who made Genghis Khan tremble, remains a timeless testament. He stands as a powerful example of leadership, courage, and the enduring human spirit in the face of impossible odds. His story is a vital chapter in the grand narrative of human resilience.